The process to develop a lean performance measurement system is called the linkage chart process. And it is a plan, do, check, adjust process. This is the method that I use when I'm working with a company and they want to develop a lean performance measurement system. So here's how it works. First, you want to create a cross-functional team. Okay? And you have senior leaders, pick one value stream, have some value stream leaders, and make sure you have people that work in the cells in that value stream. So the idea behind the linkage chart, and I'm going to show you that on the next slide, is you develop the linkage chart, then you actually calculate the measures in this linkage chart event. You define the calculation, as we talked about earlier. You go out, you gather the data, and understand, is it simple and easy to calculate? So that, and you get your basic measurements down, then you pilot the measures in huddles and on visual board and using visual boards. Daily measures, you want to pilot for about 30 days. Weekly, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. Monthly, 4 to 6 months, maybe less. But what you're trying to understand in the pilot phase is the effectiveness of the measure. Are you able to identify problems and their root causes? How simple and easy are the measures to use to do that? It's also important to test the it's also important to have coaching. Okay, if people don't have experience with lean performance measurements and huddles and posting on boards, they need some coaching of people that have the experience so that they learn the right way. Okay, because I've seen too many times when a team doesn't have coaching, they think that, for example, well, if we just write the measures on the board, we're doing our job. Okay, and if you let that go on, they think they're doing the right thing. So that's where they need the coaching, especially in daily huddles at the beginning. And that pilot phase, 30 days, 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 months, usually the teams get it by then. And during the check phase, you will find, more than likely, that some measures may need to be adjusted. They're too complicated to calculate. Maybe they're not effective in terms of problem solving. And anyway, that's what you do during the pilot phase, and eventually you end the pilot phase. So if you do a linkage chart for one value stream and get through the pilot phase, then you can take it to the next value stream, and maybe you don't have to complete everything, but you just have to start at the value stream level. So let me show you what this looks like. So you start with the strategies and goals. Now you may have specific lean strategies and goals. That's fine. If you don't, think about some of the typical lean strategies and goals that we talked about earlier in this class. The first step is to define what the strategic monthly measurements are and link them to the goals. And you can see that in some cases, one goal can be linked to more than one measure. The next step, after the strategic measures are completed, what should the value stream goals be? Okay, in order for the value stream to help move those strategic measures, what are its goals? And link them. And then, what are the value stream measurements that are going to measure what kind of progress the value stream is making towards these goals? Then you take it to the next level. What are the critical success factors in the cell? What do they have to do well all the time? Link them to the value stream measurements. Define some cell goals and link them to the critical success factors. And then you finally get down to the cell measurements. So what you've done with the linkage chart, you've linked from the company's strategy, lean strategy, all the way down to daily measurements. You have linked the measures. You have so you have created relevant measures in each area that are useful, but they are also linked to the lean strategy and to specific goals in each level of the company. So what are the benefits of using the linkage chart? First of all, you will look at your current measurements and you'll be able to define which ones are lean performance measurements, which ones are not. You'll identify gaps. Which new lean performance measurements need to be created? You'll test the effectiveness of lean performance measurements in problem identification and problem solving. And I like to say that this is a rationalization process. Which measures do you need to use? Which measures do you need to stop using? It is a very interesting, and I think it's a very exciting type of improvement event because it brings different levels of the company together. And what I've seen is that when you bring senior leaders, value stream leaders, and cell team leaders together to do this, they learn from each other. They realize they didn't know about certain measures that were in place, or they realize that things were being measured that they don't need anymore. And it really creates a lot of consensus. So I strongly urge you, if you need a lean performance measurement system, that you follow the linkage chart process. Now it's time for our final review question.